She walked in there, Rachel. She had on a brown dress, form-fitting, visibly pregnant, head held high, and did not make any eye contact with the defendant, with Sean Combs.
What was Sean's reaction when he saw Cassie enter the courtroom?
You know, attorneys say that this is the first time that they've met since 2018 when she attended the funeral for Kim Porter, which is the mother of Sean Combs' 3 children. So to watch Sean Combs watching her was really interesting because they haven't seen each other in at least 6 years. But he can't say anything. You know, this is a moment for him where he has to be silent. And right now we're hearing what she says in terms of what happened during the course of their over 10-year relationship.
They were part of the dinner and they watched Cassie get used in front of Puffy Cassie in front of them. And neither one of those men, and they probably security was around too, did nothing to stop what he had did to Cassie. Now that's just crazy right there, bro.
I think it would be wise for people to go back and watch his acceptance speech on BET for his Lifetime Achievement Award when Young Miami was there as his paramour, holding a banner that says, "Go Daddy."
He thanks her.
And he didn't thank her. He thanked Cassie
For holding it down.
for holding him down through the dark times after she had moved on and married and started a
The court is finally shining a light on what people have been whispering for years. Diddy's rise was not just about music, it was about power. Cassie Ventura is now speaking her truth, and the room is feeling it. She met Diddy at just 19, while he was 36. What looked like opportunity turned into years of emotional pressure and influence. Cassie says she was shaped to fit into his world. Now others like Jaguar Wright and Jan Deal are stepping up with their own stories. This might be way bigger than anyone imagined.
Diddy shock demand. Hide victim Cassie Ventura's pregnant tummy from the jury? Really?
Cassie did get to the point where she discussed the psychological as well as the physical she received from Diddy, and the jury was listening intently. And it's also interesting because Sean Combs seems to be pretty stoic throughout this. Now, one thing that also seems to be present throughout her testimony is how much Cassie actually loved him at one point. So I believe that they are going to move on and start really focusing on the abuse. But so far, it's been tough. It's been hard for everybody. And Cassie herself has needed some moments to wipe her nose, take some breaths. She does appear very, very sad and very, very somber. And as you know, very pregnant.
You know, it's really interesting, Lauren Collin, that one of the first things that Sean Combs' $10 million defense team did was demand that she be seated in the witness seat before the jury came in so they could not see her baby belly. What happened?
Well, they had been discussing this previously about how pregnant she looked and the fact that maybe the jury could feel sympathy for her. So, yeah, she was brought in first and then the jury was.
Cassie's testimony was raw and straight from the heart. She shared how early in the relationship Diddy brought her into private gatherings that felt off. The energy was heavy, the people were unfamiliar, and the whole vibe was unsettling. She was only 22, already feeling like she did not belong, but it did not stop there. Over time, the pressure kept building, and the weight only got heavier.
Stand revealing shocking details about these alleged freak-offs. Court TV legal correspondent Kelly Crouth is in New York City outside the courthouse with the latest.
Well, good morning to you, Julie. When court resumes here in New York City this morning, Cassie Ventura, the government's star witness, will return to the stand. During yesterday's proceedings, she was very emotional at times, wiping away tears as she described the freak-offs, giving graphic details about the sessions, how they would begin with baby oil, then move on to other activities, then eventually intercourse, as Sean Combs sat in the corner and watched. She said she hated doing these freak-offs and had to be on drugs for every single session. Sean Combs was interacting with his defense counsel a lot while Cassie was on the stand, jotting down notes and passing them to his attorneys. Inside the courtroom, members of his family. We do have some video of them leaving court Tuesday evening after proceedings ended. His daughters, sons, as well as his mother. While Cassie was on the stand, she testified that she did hate those freak-offs, needed to be on drugs. She described what took place.
Cassie described the these moments as overwhelming and out of control. Diddy would often stay distant, focused on himself, while recording her during deeply vulnerable times. The gatherings could go on for days, leaving her completely drained, both in body and spirit. She shared that she sometimes collapsed from pure exhaustion, struggling to even stand while Diddy stayed cold, sometimes even fueling the chaos. In one account transcripts, Shovey told someone to humiliate her in a way that left her shaken and powerless.
Of his ex-girlfriend Cassie, the big singer who we've seen the footage on the CCTV of him beating her up and all of that, of her having with male shoots in what the prosecution called the souvenirs of the most humiliating night of her life. And the prosecution also mentioned that him and his bodyguards also kidnapped an employee, set fire to someone's car, and dangled a person off of a balcony. It's going to be a lot to get away with this, isn't it? It's a lot. Now, interestingly, Cassie Ventura is going to give evidence at this trial, and I can't wait for that, because this girl clearly has been through a lot, and for me, she is the one that could seal his fate more than anyone else, because we've seen her. The jury know you've been in this with him, you've been beaten up by him. What you're gonna say is gonna really feel like the truth, no matter what she says, and she's got an opportunity to get her revenge like no one else here. And apparently there was a moment where Diddy at one point actually found out she was seeing another man, and he went completely mental. Weirdly, he went mental because apparently he was really into that, but maybe not when it wasn't his choice who she basically, he found her, brutally beat her, kicked her in the back, flung her around like a rag doll. These crimes, according to the prosecution, were just the tip of the iceberg. Now, the prosecution focused on Cassie quite a lot in their opening statement for obvious reasons. They mentioned the freak offs, and they say Cassie did her first freak off because she wanted to make him happy. It wasn't her thing necessarily, it was all about him, and that if she didn't do that, the consequences were severe. Now, they don't really mention what those consequences were, but I think given the footage we've seen, we can all guess what those consequences would have been. They said whenever Cassie would try and run away, he would always find her, and he would tell her that he would release the videos of all this crazy shit got up to and destroy her career if she ever did leave him. And honestly, like, you know, I'm going to try and be as impartial as possible despite what we've, but you can believe that, can't you? I mean, he beat her up. Why the threaten her? The prosecution also said that Diddy made a male escort urinate in his girlfriend's mouth. This is going to get dark, isn't it? I mean, this is day one. The hell is the future hold? And think about this from Cassie's point of view. Like, she's offering this up. No woman on the planet wants the rest of the world knowing that she let some male piss in her mouth, right? She's the one volunteering this information. For me, I have to believe her. Because who the anyone knowing that about you? Apparently, she felt like she was choking when Diddy made the escort urinate in her mouth during a freak-off party. They've also said that Cassie was so off her face because of all the drugs that they were using. She allegedly overdosed at one of the parties when she had an open wound on her face from one of the recent assaults from P. Diddy. Again, this is...
Cassie said these experiences left her feeling broken and completely stripped of her self-worth. After one intense moment, she tried to walk away, but Diddy followed her through a hotel hallway, pulled her back, and forced her inside. Later, Can released the hotel footage showing that moment. The defense worked hard to keep it out, but they could not stop it. The video is now a major turning point in this case.
Will say is Cassie made a point to say that when she wasn't making music, she was actually having to, quote, recover from these freak-offs. And again, she did say these freak-offs lasted between 1 and 4 days, and it would take her an equal amount of time to get her body recovered, to rehydrate, to rest, to detox from these drugs. It was really, really sad to listen to.
Cassie's emotional words are now being echoed by someone who was close to the action. Diddy's former bodyguard, Jane Deal, in interviews, Deal described a world where women were mistreated, manipulated, and silenced. After Diddy's arrest, Deal started speaking louder, revealing how fear and threats were used to keep people in line. He even claimed that former bad boy President Perk Burrow was pushed to give up his stake under pressure. According to Deal, intimidation and mind games were the tools Diddy used to control everything from his empire to his inner circle.
Him and Cassie be pillow talking. That's his wife. He didn't see Cassie can't say anything because he made her sign ND, a non-disclosure. But she could whisper things in her husband's ear. And some of the stuff that she's probably saw had to go through with dude, her husband just speaking on it. He can't say where he got it from. But then again, he got to know. People got to know where he got it from. That's his wife. Yes, he's an older guy. He might be a whole lot of fruity too. But Cassie would know that just like Kim knew that.
So you feel like Cassie is the one that's telling her husband stuff behind the scenes about Puffy?
Right. And you got to realize he was their trainer. He was her trainer before he became her husband. So she may have was telling him stuff way before they was even married. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. So before we get off of this topic, right, because I'm sure people is going to want me to ask you being around Puffy, is there any truth to him being fruity?
I don't know what you mean by really, do I see this man being fruity? Does the man like other men? I think he's brother love. He love other men. Bruh, I can say this, and I'm going to leave it at that when I say it. And this is not something that, really interests me. It might interest the viewers and everything like that, but they live this weird rock and roll lifestyle where they touchy-feely with each other. And all I could say in situations like that is that if two men lay down, how many fruity men get up? Cassie wasn't the only one who wanted, or she didn't want it, but Cassie, who searched for the big black, and she was searching for the big black, not only for herself, but for somebody else who we all know that was in the room with her. So if he want to see it and he want her to touch it, that other person in the room with her just might want to feel it. Allegedly.
So you feel like Diddy was having a problem?
They had to be for both of them. They was in the room. Right?
You're right.
It's a freak off section. Right? She said it's a freak off section. If she says a freak off section, brother, she ain't the only one freaking off. The dude ain't the only one freaking off. Old boy is freaking off also.
Right. So you think he was letting these guys use their BBCs on him?
I think that, and me just being a trained investigator and reading through the lines of certain things. And one time I had read something that Cassie couldn't take it no more. She told her friend, and this was she was under a non-disclosure and everything like that. She told her friend she couldn't take it no more because she had seen this dude do something. I've heard plenty of stories about him being on a yacht. That same yacht that Kim was on, and the same yacht she got her nose broken on, that somebody was doing something to him when they walked in the room, and it caused a confrontation. This is what somebody who was on the yacht said to me. You understand? They was telling that story to somebody. And it was a female. But my whole thing about it was this, is that anything in that lawsuit, you got to realize that we only got a portion of it because it's been chopped up. Things has been taken out. So somebody wouldn't look a certain way. Now, they left some of the things in there. But I'm sure plenty of times Cassie may have seen some stuff that she ain't really want to look at.
But the story keeps going when Kim Porter, a woman deeply connected to Diddy, passed away in 2018 under unclear circumstances. Jan Deal raised serious questions. He said her body was not fully examined, her phones and devices disappeared, and even claimed that a gold casket was ordered months before her death. True or not, these claims add to the growing concern over how women were treated in Diddy's world.
People have been questioning, well, she doesn't really know him. She has no knowledge of him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis, but Lucian Grange. He was selected to be the demon that he is, to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue for all of its precious jewels. We have too many lost. The list of lost is ridiculous. And everyone knows Diddy was selected for this job. He's the Judas.
Do you think that if he's cornered in the way that he's been now, that he may start revealing things about other people?
He has no choice. His ego and his drug addiction won't allow him to do anything different. Anybody who thinks he's not going to talk is crazy. The simple fact that he's not saying more now only means that the people who have been protecting him all along, who put him in position to be such a horror to the Black community, still find value in him. He's got everybody on tape. They all know it. It's a mess.
For those who were never at these freak-off parties, what were they like?
See, this is the thing. Everything that I'm about to say to you is not my firsthand knowledge. It is my firsthand witness account experience. I was a record deal. That's how I know how the dark world and the entertainment world run hand in hand. That's why the movie Blink Twice is so important. Salute to Zoe Kravitz. The celebrities that I have worked with throughout the years and continue to work with even to this day have worn hidden cameras. I have my own tapes. I've seen what they do. The ritualistic behaviors, the drugging, putting girls in a suitcase on before Diddy. See, people keep looking at him like he's the Sputnik that came out of nowhere. This is someone who was designed to be what he is. We got to stop making Diddies. And if we're going to do that, then we got to go back. We got to go back to even further, the mentors of these people. Because Diddy was taught how to do what he does systematically. And Clive Davis has been his greatest teacher. That part, while y'all worried about whether or not Diddy got maggots in his food, in the hell he deserves to be in. Well, the fact that the real reason why he's upset that Cassie's pregnant is because her testifying to what he did to her in that video that we all seen while she's pregnant is gonna look really bad. Oh my God, if she even cries. And I'm telling you, as a woman who's been pregnant, third trimester, you can get really emotional for absolutely no reason at all. So imagine this. Oh, it's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be like watching like an ogre unalive little kittens. Like, it's gonna be terrible. And if they try to cross-examine her hard in any way, those lawyers are gonna look like monsters. I don't blame them. I would have quit too. Yes, I would have quit. Because they probably were lining him up to have to cross-examine Cassie. He was like, oh, hell to the no. To the no. I want nothing to do with this. I ain't attacking no pregnant woman for this monster. I have to resign. There is no more that I can do. Please keep the money. Yeah, it's getting real. I know the real reason why people are upset, though. See, it was Liz Crokin that brought me there. A lot of people have called her a lot of things. A lot of people have called me a lot of things. She's white, I'm black. And yet the one thing that is for sure, I see her as a sister in arms, fighting against these monsters, believing in her like she's believed in me. To Americans. That's all. And after talking to my good friend Paperwork today, it looks like there's some things that I need to make sure that we alert Cash Patel's office about. We think it's of great concern. And I'm sure Mary Flynn would agree with me. She knows how dangerous Diddy can be, and with Clive Davis being at the heart of it all, I'm sure that makes it even more egregious. So yeah, last time I checked.
Many people used to dismiss Jaguar Wright as bitter or unreliable, but Cassie's testimony is making everyone look again. When Jaguar talked about Diddy using extreme control, it felt like too much to believe, but now Cassie is saying she was treated more like a prop than a person sharing how she felt isolated and dehumanized, and suddenly Jaguar's words are hitting different. What once sounded like speculation now feels way too real.
Controlling. Cassie talking about the freak-offs that are at issue in this case. Highly orchestrated that she said lasted up to 4 days. She said they were so exhausting, she needed a recovery period from uses of drugs and the physical exhaustion of the activities at play. Cassie testified that she met Combs when she was an aspiring recording star. He signed her to his label, Bad Boy Records, and from there, they eventually developed a romantic relationship. She says he first kissed her when they were on a trip to Las Vegas and for her 21st birthday, and then they began hanging out. She says she was experienced and that Combs took the lead in their relationship. Eventually, she says he introduced her to the concept of freak-offs, these highly orchestrated parties. At first, Cassie said she was apprehensive. She didn't want to go along with that concept, but she wanted to make Combs happy, and so she did. Eventually, she said, Combs turned violent. He turned controlling. He rented her an apartment in New York City just blocks from where he lived, and when they moved to Los Angeles to be closer to some of his children, he rented her an apartment that was just a 3-minute drive away from where he lived. Cassie taking the stand as she is just about to give birth to her third child. She is heavily pregnant, at times putting her hands on her belly as she sits on the witness stand. At times she was emotional, dabbing her eyes with a tissue and pausing to compose herself, letting out deep sighs. So far, prosecutors have been asking Cassie about her relationship with Combs, the fundamentals, the starting off points. They've asked about some of the abuse. We expect, as questioning continues, that she will be asked more probing questions about the freak-offs and about this now infamous tape that we've seen from 2016 where Combs is captured on a security video beating and kicking Cassie. She was asked about it briefly in her initial testimony, and she said she was trying to leave one of the...
John Day and Jaguar Wright might not be perfect messengers, but what they are saying now lines up with what is coming out in court. And it is hard to ignore, this is not just about one man, it is about a system built on silence control and pain where power is used to keep people quiet and women are left to carry the damage. This is not cancel culture. This is about justice. After hearing Cassie's words and seeing the evidence, it is clear she went through something serious. Do you believe her? What do you think about all these stories? Let us know in the comments and join the conversation.